Welcome to the Iron Self podcast, where we jump into health, fitness, mindset, and becoming the best version of yourself. Today with your hosts, Mike and Kayla Minion. Welcome back to the Iron Self podcast.
How's it going, everybody?
So today we are talking holiday hacks. How do I make it through the holidays and stick with my nutrition, my workouts, my healthy habits that I've already started to create?
This is so important because Kayla did a little bit of research, and between Halloween and is it New Year's?
Halloween and New Year's, yes.
Halloween to New Year's, the average American, mind you, gains 8 to 20 pounds. 8 to 20 pounds.
Between Halloween and New Year's, that's craziness. Like
right?
that
2
is
months.
In 2 months, the average person gains anywhere from 8 to 20 pounds. And then January happens and we're like, hey, it's January. Now it's time to jump on this bandwagon and get rid of this extra 8 to 20 pounds.
So today's episode is all about how we can make some sustainable habits and choices throughout the holidays to actually be successful right from Halloween straight through to New Year's.
So the very first thing that I want to give you as a tool in your toolbox is what I call the like it versus love it rule. And I use this with a lot of clients. Do you like it or do you love it? So let's start at Halloween, okay? So when I'm thinking about Halloween candy and I'm thinking about Smarties, do I like them or do I love them? Well, I like Smarties, but I love O. Henry's. What about you?
I love it all. No, that's a great point, is being able to say whether you like it or love it. And if you don't absolutely love it, don't eat it, right? So the self-control is an issue for a lot of people, but it's something that you need to work on. It's like a muscle. You got to work it, right? So again, being able to say, do I like it or do I love it? If I love it, I'm going to go ahead and have one, two, whatever, couple of them. Whereas if I just like it, maybe I'm going to pass on that one and, wait until I can get the other one that I do enjoy more.
Yeah, because if it's not your favorite, why waste a little extra calories or a little extra, I'm going to say, pick me up on something that is not really your favorite?
No.
It doesn't bring you as much joy.
Okay, so that is tip number 1, like it or love it. That is holiday hack numero uno.
Number 2 is you can pre-plan and pre-visualize the process. So for example, if you are going to go out and you are going to go out with a bunch of friends and you are the designated driver, and so you know that you don't want to have a drink that night, you might think to yourself in your head, visualizing yourself walking into the restaurant or wherever it is that you're going, and the waitress or the bartender says to you, what can I get you to drink? And your initial instinct, and you're going to go, I'm going to have a glass of wine or whatever that might be that you're going to normally order. And instead, you're going to visualize yourself going, I'm going to get a Diet Pepsi or whatever it is that you want to order. You want to visualize the process of going in. You want to visualize being asked. You want to express out loud so you get that auditory sound coming into your ears that says, this is what I'm going to say. Then what happens is that you go into this experience and your brain stops you in the process. When somebody says, what can I get you to drink? Your brain's going to replay that whole thing that you already visualized and made that auditory component with. And it's going to say, you're going to say Diet Pepsi. And in that moment, you have now the choice and the power to make a choice that says, hey, I can order that glass of wine or I can order that glass of Pepsi that I said I was going to get. What am I going to do? And now you're empowered because that choice becomes yours.
Our minds love repetition too. So being able to, again, like Kayla said, say it out loud when you're practicing it at home, when you're thinking, okay, I'm going to, instead of going for whatever you normally go for, you want to switch it up, and saying it out loud is really important because your brain loves that repetition. So if you've said it once and your mind remembers that very recently, like, oh, hold on, I'm actually going to change what I normally do here. So that is really powerful.
And that brings it into your reticular activating system in your brain. And your brain is looking for that opportunity for that change that you said you were going to make. It's like if you're going to a big holiday meal and maybe, there's appies all day long, and then there's going to be this big holiday meal in the evening. And you say to yourself, when I get there, I'm going to sit on the couch away from the appetizers and I'm going to only give myself a small plate. You're going to visualize that. You're going to make it verbal out loud. So you get that auditory component. And now when you make it to that party, you have that option to sit at the table or sit near the table or stand around in the kitchen, or you can grab that small plate. You can make yourself a small plate and stick to that. But again, it's all about that habit, that repetition of what you're telling yourself you're going to do, so that you have that pre-plan, so that you already know and you can make an easier decision. Okay, got even more. Let's keep going. I got so many tips. So one of the ones that a lot of people kind of get annoyed at me for, but it's like, bring some food that you can share. Like, if you know that every time you go to your aunt's house or your grandma's house, and there's always like this like overwhelming, like high fat, high sugar food there, bring something that you know is healthy, that you can share, that you want to share with other people. And maybe you make that like a holiday tradition, where it's like you're going to bring a different dish every year, and people are going to try something new and something different, and that might be something that people look forward to.
Even if it's, you know, not something that everybody else is going to love, because, you know, a lot of people around the holidays just want to consume all that highly palatable, I'm going to use the term lightly, garbage food. They you know, maybe they're not going to love your dish, but you brought it there for yourself to begin with. And if you get somebody else to try it and they're like, oh, actually that's pretty good, then it's a win-win, right? So bring something for yourself and enjoy it.
Well, and a lot of people are going to get stuck on that idea of like, I have to bring like a garden salad to share because that's going to fit with my goals. Think outside the box. It does not have to be this traditional garden salad.
Bring meatballs.
Maybe you bring meatballs. Maybe you make some sort of lettuce wraps. Maybe you like, I saw this one thing where like somebody like took out the center of a cucumber and like stuffed it with like this like wonderful like tuna and antipasto stuff, and then it was like these little appies. So you can think outside the box. There's so much healthy recipes out there nowadays that it doesn't have to be that traditional, or oh my gosh, I can't think of anything to make with this.
Awesome. I think another important hack or tip here is, when you go out to somewhere for dinner, whether it's at your friends, families, or a restaurant, focus on your protein and your vegetables first. Because at the end of the day, obviously you're going to want to eat the snacks or the cakes or whatever else there is there. But if you focus on protein and vegetables so that you actually eat something that's going to sustain you and fill you up, you're going to be more satiated. So you might not be reaching as often or for as much of these highly palatable, highly sugar and fat, like Kayla was saying, because you're already going to have that base in your stomach, and it's going to be a better choice for you and your goals moving forward.
And most people want to overindulge on the tasty carbohydrates. I mean, who doesn't want to eat yams with marshmallows melted on top?
Or
Sounds
butter
delicious.
tarts.
You know, like, yeah, they're so good, right? They're delicious. They target that like feel good endorphins in your brain, and we get that dopamine hit. There's so much that kind of comes into this. But if you focus on saying, you know what, I can have those things. I don't want to place labels around this and say I can't, because if I did eat it, then I'm a rebel. But I want you to go ahead and tell yourself, yes, I can have that pie. Yes, I can have those yams. Yes, I can have those butter tarts, whatever it is. And then I want you to just fill up on protein and veg first. Once you've had your servings of protein and vegetables, then go ahead and add in a little bit of those carbohydrates. Start small. Check in with your body. Check in with your brain. How am I feeling? Am I feeling satiated? Am I feeling full? Have I had enough?
Well, that was going to be kind of plays beautifully into the next one, is eating slowly. Don't Kirby it at Christmas time, right? Everybody remembers the video game Kirby, where he opens his mouth and it's that big, and he's just sucking everything back. Don't be Kirby, right? Eat slowly. Think about, be mindful while you're eating. Take your time, because half the time we'll just stuff our faces at these bigger meals, and then it's like, holy man, all of a sudden I'm super full. It's like, well, if I'd actually eaten slower, I would have realized that I was full 20 minutes ago.
Well, and our brain takes a little bit of time to understand that our stomach is full. People don't realize that it can take anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes for your brain to get the signal that you're full. So if you're eating slowly, you're putting your fork down, you're enjoying the conversation, you're being present with your group, that 20 minutes just to pass and you're like, okay, I am actually getting full. I have had enough. Have a sip of water in between, start to see, checking in with your body, that this is a whole experience. When we have these big holiday dinners or meals or gatherings or whatever it is, it's about the experience. Nobody cares what you're eating. They want to spend time with you. They want to have that connection with you. And I think that that's the same thing, like you're talking about eating slowly. This comes with being present with the food in your mouth.
Yeah.
Like we get a dopamine hit from the anticipation of the next bite.
The bite sitting on that fork, your brain starts to picture and you're like salivating because you're like, oh, I'm going to eat that bite.
That bite's going to be amazing. Well, that bite exists in the future. Enjoy the bite that is in your mouth. Savor it, taste it, feel the texture of it. Really make it like this whole sensory experience, and you're going to eat less because you're going to feel fulfilled by the bites that you're already having. Yeah. And I think that's critical.
Yeah, well, that's perfect.
Then we get to the idea of, don't like we said, delaying that eating time when it comes to like how long it takes for your stomach to feel full. But when it comes to having seconds, delay it a little bit. Have it sit with that plate and, okay, now can I delay? I'm going to wait 5 or 10 minutes before I decide to go back for seconds. And again, checking in. How am I feeling?
Drink some water. Lots of people just focus on food and they're not realizing that they're thirsty half the time. They think they're hungry, but they're actually thirsty.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about that family bonding or that friendly bonding, creating those relationships. What about incorporating some sort of physical activity into this bonding time? Be that an active family board game, be that going out for a family or a friendly walk before or after the meal, playing with the kids, throwing the football around. What is it that you can create this bonding around?
It's Christmas time. Go tobogganing. Take the kids out tobogganing before or after the meal. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, make it a social event. It's not a workout. We're not going out to work out, and like, who cares whether you're breaking a sweat or not? Like, the whole idea is to have fun and create these memories. Hey, you remember that time so-and-so did this? That was so funny. Like, that's what we want. That is the whole idea. We look forward to these special occasions because they're special, right? And when
the company is what makes them special.
The company is what makes them special, and the experience is what makes them special. And that lends way to the idea that a lot of the time people come into these special occasions very rigid, right? I can't eat this. I can't eat this. I'm good if I eat this. I'm bad if I eat that. If I don't do this, I can't do that. Like, there's just too much rigidity around it. Whereas if you just let that occasion be special and meaningful and you experienced it for the way it was meant to be experienced, you would feel so much more joy. It's not that one meal that throws you off. It's the spiral that happens after that one meal, when you're the next meal and the next meal and like the days after, that really starts to throw us off track. If you're ready to make a change in your life, step into the best version of you, check out our Iron Self Transformation Program. Find more info on our website, www.ironbodycoach.com.
I love the activity part that she brought into it, because I'm all about that. So big thing for me that I hear from a lot of people is that, they only see their extended family at these holidays, so they never know what to talk about. And my biggest thing I always say is, well, get out and do something active. Go for a walk with your family. Like, take the entire group, kids, everybody that's there, and just go for a walk. The conversation will come naturally because the kids are going to be playing, they're going to be having fun, you're going to be, just chatting with people. It becomes that more natural than sitting around a table and trying to think of conversation topics to come up with.
Right. I mean, like, the things that you don't want to talk about is like politics, COVID, like all of those kinds of things that really can stir up.
Religion, don't do it.
Yeah, like everybody's got a different view, and you don't want to hear, Uncle Georgie's like opinion again about whatever took place on this family event. We don't need to relive all of these things. Think about it like a table, like you can get those table topic like decks of cards and stuff too. Sometimes if you're looking for like that conversation starter, and hey, okay, well, who's ever done this or whatever.
Or that's a great idea too, is like playing a family game. Get a board game, get something weird that nobody's gonna be like, oh, I can't play that game. Like, I don't know. what's a good one? One of those acting ones.
Well, we like the what is it? Cranium. That's what we
Cranium.
like in our
Or
house.
categories, something like that, where it's just something that's silly and fun for the entire family, so everybody kind of gets into a more playful mood.
Yes, and play is like a huge component of creating that happiness, that fun, that joy. Okay, jumping back into some more hacks. You could also look at fasting up until your meal. And I'm not saying fasting in the sense of don't eat, because when we fast in that anticipation for the meal and we're not eating, then all of a sudden it's like this
Binge at the meal.
It gives us that like pig out mentality at the meal. When I'm saying fasting before your meal, I'm saying eating like smaller meals than you would normally eat, really focusing on those protein and the vegetables earlier in the day. And maybe you're only having, 200-300 calories at your breakfast and your lunch to opt for this bigger dinner or whatever that is. But that way you're not coming at it with that mentality of this is my license to kill. This is my pig out mentality. If I just don't eat all day long, I can gorge myself at dinner and you're going to feel like garbage.
Yeah.
And that takes out the whole special aspect of this.
I like to say eat regularly, right? Like just because it is a special meal doesn't mean you have to pile your plate, 6 inches high, 8 inches high. Eat regular, right? Eat decent sized meals throughout the day, so you're not going to be starving by the time you get there. There's too many people that do that, exactly what Kayla's saying, and they're like, I'm just not going to eat anything until dinner, so then when dinner comes I can eat everything. It's like, no, calm down here. Eat moderate meals throughout the day, and then when you got to that main meal, eat a regular portion size. You don't, just because it's a special day, a special occasion, does not mean that you have to pile your plate as high as you can. My dad was the worst for this. He used to just, every big meal we had with family, his plate was huge, and you go back for a second one, everybody's like, holy, that's, he just ate a 4,000 calorie meal.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't do that. That would drive me nuts. Like, I don't like my food to touch on my plate. Like I will have seconds and thirds and all of that, literally just because I just don't want my food to touch, and I don't like my hot food with my cold
I was gonna say you can't have a salad on the same plate.
No, I can't do it. Like I wish they had those separation plates for those big meals.
I need big people.
I need like a child plate. Okay, so detaching, a lot of people detach from the food, and I think this was where you got into that like bigger portion size. They detach from the food and they're just eating, and they're mindlessly eating, and they're not totally enjoying it. So this comes back to that enjoyment factor, that ability to be present in the moment and to truly like taste the food, enjoy the food, savor it, savor your time with each other, put your fork down, have conversation.
Yeah. Well, that's that Kirby mentality again, right? Just open your mouth and inhale rather than enjoying the food that you're having. If it is a special meal, if it's things you don't eat all the time, enjoy it. Savor that food. If it's that special to you that you would normally pile your plate 10 inches high, just savor each bite you take. Eat less, but take more time doing it.
And try to stop the mindless eating all day long. Just because there's appies out all day long and some people are grazers, focus on the vegetable component of that, and maybe allow yourself to have a small plate of the other things that you love, not that you like, the things that you love.
Yeah.
Right? If you love that Nanaimo bar, go eat the Nanaimo bar, because you're going to feel better mentally that you ate it, rather than beating yourself up for not eating it and going down that rabbit hole spiral of beating yourself up for eating it. So just allow yourself to be there, to be present, and to truly enjoy the specialty of that day. Mm-hmm. And then when it comes to leftovers, guys, we love leftovers in our house.
Those are meals. That's how we eat.
Yes, so good. But when it comes to leftovers, I want you to think about, if somebody's giving you leftovers because you're at somebody else's house, focus on the protein, the turkey, the ham, whatever it is that you're having, and focus on the vegetables. It's those highly palatable leftover pie, leftover butter tarts, whatever it is, that are really where we want to try and not allow that to spill over into the coming days, right? That one day was special. I don't need the entire week to be special.
Yeah. Well, and the same thing goes if the dinner was at your house and you're giving away leftovers, give away the highly palatables. Give away those really high fat, high sugar treats. Maybe keep one or two if you absolutely need to, but hand those away, so then you're not going to be as tempted to eat those. Keep the proteins, keep the cart. Like for me, I keep the turkey, I keep the potatoes, I keep the stuffing, and I keep the vegetables, and I will eat all of those on repeat, because who doesn't love leftovers?
Right. And then the other thing that you can think about too is freezing things. So if you've got that leftover pie or those leftover tarts or whatever it is that are leftovers that you do eventually want to have, think about freezing it for the next time you have a special occasion or the next dinner party that you have. You're less tempted to eat it when it's frozen, because yes, butter tarts are delicious, but they are less delicious when they're frozen.
When they're little pucks, yeah.
Yes. So think about freezing things for later, for down the road, so that you can savor that and enjoy it down the road. It tastes just as good when you take it out of the freezer, right? And you can also think about packaging things into freezer portion size meals. So in our house, we have two different sizes of plastic, like I'm going to call them
We have
Tupperware.
family size dishes, and we have individuals.
Right. And so then Mike knows if I put it in a smaller individual size dish, it's portioned for me. If it's in a larger individual size dish, it's portioned for him. And if it's in the bigger dish, it's portioned for the family. And so this makes it quick and easy to make, leftover meals where I can take like turkey and throw in a bunch of peas. And then maybe I don't put any carbohydrates in there because I would rather decide on my carbohydrates at that time. Whereas Mike, he wants the potatoes and all of the other stuff that kind of go in there. And I can portion that out for him so that if he's on a grab and go, he needs to get lunch quickly, he can just take that out and reheat it in the toaster oven or the microwave or however you reheat your food. I mean, and then you've got that quick, easy grab and go family meal that it's like, okay, you know what? I don't feel like cooking. It's Saturday night. I'm not cooking. You take that out, you reheat it, and everybody's got this delicious meal that they can have.
Yeah.
So looking at all of these different things that you can do to take back your power in these holiday traditions and special occasions that we all know and love and look forward to.
It doesn't mean we don't get to look forward to and still celebrate the holidays, because we would never say that. We are huge about holidays. Enjoy your time with your family, but make it about the family. You don't have to make it about the food. Enjoy the food, of course, because who doesn't love delicious food? But it doesn't have to be all about that food.
Now, we've talked about food. We've talked about increasing physical activity. We haven't talked about the alcohol, the drink consumption, whether it is alcohol or maybe you're an orange juice or maybe, like whatever it is that you like to consume that is a calorie ridden drink. Is beverage is the word I was looking for, but anyways, it came to my mind after the fact. But so these calorie ridden beverages, vegetables. Oh my gosh, Kayla. Calorie ridden beverages, how do we control those?
Don't have it in your hand all night. I know if there's a drink in my hand, I'm going to be drinking said drink all night.
Right. And I'm the same way, right? And or you get like a big old glass of wine. You're like, I had one glass. I'm like, that's half the bottle.
Fishbowl.
Yeah, right. And that's the size of my glasses of wine. But I know that I'm just going to stick to my one glass of wine. Right? Or maybe you prefer to drink it out of a smaller glass. Maybe you prefer.
If you do mixed drinks, mix it extra strong for the simple fact that you're not just going to hammer it back.
Yeah. So that comes to the idea of drinking things that you wouldn't necessarily drink fast, right? Like maybe you're a Scotch on the rocks kind of person where, you're just sipping it or whatever it is that you wouldn't normally just chug back. I mean, like if I have a cider in my hand, delish. I call that apple drink. Like, it's delicious. So I want to consume it because I'm enjoying it versus maybe I'm going to drink something that I wouldn't normally drink. Like I'm going to say like rum and eggnog is like really popular around the holidays. And it's like, that is thick. It's heavy. It's weighty. Nobody wants to drink that fast. Maybe you do.
I do.
Yeah. But I'm just saying like, it's thick. It's a lot. Savor it, enjoy it. So enjoy what you are having, drink it slowly, and maybe set yourself some parameters. Maybe you're not drinking the entire day, or maybe you are drinking around food, right? Like having food with it, focusing on the protein and the vegetables. That's also going to slow down the way that your body metabolizes it as well.
Yeah. Perfect.
So we're not saying don't drink. We're not saying don't eat the yummy, highly palatable foods. And we're not saying don't move your body. We're saying move your body, find an enjoyment, an event, something that you can do to create that relationship together, whether that's just a family walk. I used to love those family walks, right? Find some form of food choices that works for you. What are the habits and routines that we've talked about already in this episode that might work for you, that you could actually use?
Everything in moderation, I think, is what we want to preach too, right? Eat in moderation, drink in moderation. Holidays don't have to be all about that big, exuberant, we're going big or going home. Well, we're already home, so let's just go normal.
So I hope that you guys learned something from this episode. I hope it helps you stay on track through the holidays and not be one of those people that are gaining anywhere from 8 to 20 pounds.
If you want to get started on your holiday goals before the holidays even start, you should definitely check out our Iron Self Transformation Program. There's a plug.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to us today. We love you. We are grateful for you. Share this episode with a family member or a friend that you feel could benefit from it. If you want more information from our show notes, check out www.ironbodycoach.com.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye for now.